Okay, I'm going to show you guys how I would draw a deck in SketchUp, just a real basic deck. We're going to do a 12 by 20, so we'll start our rectangle, and I'll type in my dimensions, 12 foot by 20 foot. I'll do my push-pull to give me some height here. I'll go 8 inches. And I usually make a component out of it right away, just so it's easier to move around. If you had the house drawn, you could slide it around on the house, get everything all lined up right. So now we've got the basic outline of that. So let's start. We'll put in some stairs. We'll start with that. We'll start with a 6-tread staircase. Spin it where I want it. Then we'll drop it in place there on the corner. Next, we'll start with some rails next. Start with the posts. Import my post. Control move. Drop it over on the center there. So we're good. Duplicate it over here to this corner. This corner. And the center again. Lining it all up with the midpoints and the components, so I don't have to think about anything. And then over here I can't line up on the midpoint because the stairs have changed the dimensions, so I'm going to come over here and measure it. And we got 15 foot 6.5, so half of that is going to be 7 foot 9.25. So we'll pull off of there 7 foot 9.25 inches, and we're good there. Snag a post, drop it in place, and we should be all centered up. Another thing, you can check yourself if you wanted to, and put in your dimensions like this. And then what's nice about using these dimensions is if you were off, if you have it snapped in between the posts like that, if you were off 2 inches, you look and you can see it, and you can just make an adjustment. And you can see it, you can move it around until the numbers line up and match. That could be a way to save some time if you want to just drop a post in the middle there, close by, and stick it in there. It's good. Now, another thing too to save time is don't be too picky about it. If one said 7 foot 7 and the other one said 7 foot 7.5, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to notice on the 3D rendering that it's a little off, unless you're building your cut lists off of this. Then in that case, you want to make sure everything is perfect. Okay, now we're going to import some rails. And I'd done my rails a long time ago. And we use fortress rails a lot, or custom welded rails. So a lot of my components are built down to the inch, but you can save time by not doing that and just setting them in the post. So let's just grab the 7 foot 10 opening, or rail section, for our 7 foot 7.25 opening. And we can just bury one end in the post a little bit, and it'll be fine. Depending upon how you color it up, it's probably not going to show. So we could center them on the post if you want everything to be right. Duplicate, slide it over, and we're good to go there. And then over on the sides here, measure this opening real quick. 5 foot 6. Import some 5 foot 6 sections. That one I didn't get it lined up right on center, but like I said, it's probably not going to show. Nobody's ever going to know for sure. We could do the same thing over here on this one, especially if you're using black fortress rails. So we'll be painting all these components black. People are not going to notice that you're off a little bit. Even this little bit not touching the post would probably be fine. You're probably not going to see that little discrepancy in 3D rendering. And most don't care about everything being 100% right on their deck. They're just looking for, or on their drawing, they're just looking for the general overview. So if you get something like that, it all looks pretty good. That's about what it's going to look like. And then my stairs, the way I have them built in components, kind of makes it a little more time consuming to paint them all up, but it's not too bad. So let's do a multicolor tread and riser fascia. So we'll go to our library for our decking here. We'll use Fibron Ipe for the treads, and we'll use the rosewood for the risers. Wrong one. I've imported all of the color chips from the manufacturer's website, so they're all pretty close to accurate. So we'll paint up the fascia there. So now that's done. Now we can maybe do up our fascia on our deck real quick. And when we work with Fibron, we use the deck boards as our fascia. Just they don't really have a cap layer fascia out yet, so we want something that's going to match the cap layer composite and last as long. So there you go. There's a quick basic deck there. On a deck this high off the ground, people are probably not going to care about where the post and beam are. Most everybody kind of knows what that looks like. They kind of want to know what their basic deck looks like on their house. So you could draw something like that up real quick. If you wanted to draw in the post and beam, you could do that. And then if I wanted to turn this into a set of blueprints, what I would do is change my view to the bottom so I get a straight view like that. I'm going to hide these stairs because they don't work as well in their blueprint mode. I'm going to import from my SketchUp directory. We do a lot of stuff on 12-inch centers, so that's what we do most of our stuff at. So I'm going to rotate those joists. Since this is a component, it's not going to go real well. I'm going to trace an outline around it so that I have my 12 by 20 again. And I'm just going to drag this over here, stick it on the corner so it lines up with the deck. Corner of the deck. Right there. And you can see all this excess here. If I explode it, I don't know why I have it double component, but explode it, and then I can just erase all of this in here. I've got this blueprint drawn already, and it's on the bottom side of this deck. There it is. All the joists are there. So I can draw in some beams and pier holes, and then I might have, like in this case right here, I have one spot on the edge that didn't quite work out, so I might have to draw in one single joist there. But I usually do the measure line, do that, and it's done. So I'll draw in my beam 2 foot back. And carry on from there. So that's how I draw one up in SketchUp.